and the allegations of 5 million rand being paid to General Mokangwe, according to your allegation, and General Fannie Masemola. Those are quite explosive. What proof do you have of that having taken place, money being given by Mr. Bobby Motaung? That conversation forward, and we are joined by Lieutenant General Daphney Magagula-Masenamela, the suspended Mpumalanga SAPS Commissioner. Good evening to you, General, and thank you for your time. Let me start with a question that says, why now? Why speak out now in the manner that you did? I've been saying that news events hit you at breakneck speed, but actually your allegations yesterday came at breakneck speed in fast and furious against a number of persons, suggesting that this has been developing over time. So why speak out now? What's brought you to this point?
Thank you very much to you and the viewers at home. I think what triggered everything that made everyone can be surprised with the presentation that I did yesterday is that when we are working in the service, coming up with incidents, it's not the question of the presentation of yesterday was the first to be presented and be known by, especially with the principals in the SAPS. These matters has been dealt with, has been raised through different platforms. But if you think, you feel that the matters are being dealt with and you give your confidence to your subordinates, but only to and that when you open your eyes, matters are not being dealt with according to the way that it is supposed to have been dealt with. Remember yesterday what I said? I said the records at the end of the day we found to be at head office. The question was why was the doctors supposed to be at head office when they were supposed to have been dealt with by province? For me, it was a problem. There are families that want to hear and have a closure in as far as their life is, that life of their loved one is concerned. For me, murder is murder. There is no question of murder that is less, whether it was Jimmy Nhlanhla or Hilary Gadi or any other citizen of Mpumalanga. For me, it was very much important. But you cannot be saying, why now? Why people are saying now? There is no question of now, because why does not exist. But what's existing is the establishment of the motive behind why the cases were not being finalized for over 10 years.
The other preliminary question that I would like us to deal with before we try and pull at the various threads of the allegations you made is the question of why you are on suspension. What's the actual reason? And perhaps you can then share what you believe to be the true reason why you are under suspension. But what does your suspension letter say about the reasons why you are suspended?
The real reasons for my suspensions, there are allegations that I took some gifts. There are allegations that I'm abusing powers in speaking to my subordinates. So having said that, I've got 2 court orders that are saying me I must go back to work. In as far as that is concerned, the investigations are being done because investigation cannot be endless. They're being done. So I'm sitting at home now with the court orders, and the employer is appealing for me not to return to work. So those are the reasons why I'm sitting at home now. But other than that, there is no problem with that, because I'm sitting here with legal court battles, exercising my constitutional rights. The employer is also exercising his constitutional right. But the gist of the reasons is I took gifts as it is alleged, and then I also said words to my subordinates while I'm exercising the discipline procedures to my subordinates.
What gifts are these, General, and did you take them?
That is what the employer must tell me, because I'm sitting here. I'm quite certain that the employer haven't seen the gifts that I took. So it's a very interesting chapter that we will allow the courts to deal with it when the time is right.
The reason I ask you all of these preliminary questions is that so much has hit South Africans by way of allegations, such that at some point South Africans don't know what to believe anymore, and therefore you will hear people questioning you and your motives. So I wanted to deal with that as perhaps a basis of countering what you might bring to the fore. So let's try now and go through the various allegations, and as I said, they really are explosive, and I don't know where to begin. But perhaps let's start with the case of Jimmy Nhlanhla and the allegations, and unfortunately a number of people will have defamatory statements made about them, and we will endeavor to give them a right of reply, but such is the nature of how the story has actually played itself out. The allegations you make around the case of Jimmy Nhlanhla and the allegations of 5 million rand being paid to General Mokangwe, according to your allegation, and General Fannie Masemola. Those are quite explosive. What proof do you have of that having taken place, money being given by Mr. Bobby Motaung?
I think the question of the proof, what I have is that we did not wake up the previous day or yesterday to come and conduct or do that presentation yesterday. Much state work has been done before even I was on suspension and even when I was at home. So the intensive information and the evidence that we are having made me to go yesterday and tell the public what is going on. Ordinarily, the entire investigation should have been conducted within the organization if things were going well. But you have a problem that when you come forward with the information, you are being blocked. When you come forward with another information, you are not allowed to do that. The other question you might be asking to say, but if these things are so real and serious, you start coming here and tell the public. I did not start yesterday. You can do that. I've been in certain doors in certain offices and principals to can share with them what is really happening, what is really going on. But you cannot be saying all these things at once. If one of them, you yes. do it, you share it, you don't get a response. So the evidence is there, of course. There are things that we dealt with. What I said yesterday with my statement about Jimmy Nhlanhla, I'm still saying it now. And the investigation will determine that. The allegation needs to be tested.
Sorry, ma'am. I do need to try and move us along because of time. When you say the evidence is there, that suggests that you, or perhaps at your behest, members of the SAPS in Mpumalanga or elsewhere, went a bit further to try and dig deeper. Because when you say that the exchange of this 5 million rand allegedly took place at a house in Montana in Pretoria, that suggests that it must have been cash because it must have been done in person. That amount of cash must leave a paper trail somewhere. Where do we start looking for this paper trail?
I suggest we have to leave the investigation to be testing that. Because while the investigation must be conducted, then the truth will come out. And the allegations that I made yesterday must be tested. I'm of the view that if it is done properly, then the truth and what I said yesterday shall have to come to that point.
And there's quite a number of other allegations. Let's talk about the issue of the handling of dockets, because at some point you make allegations of political interference against the former minister, Bheki Cele, and you're saying that he took a personal interest and perhaps a political interest in some politically linked cases. Then there's the allegation around the investigation of the Hillary Gadi murder and the allegations that you make there about a district commissioner, I believe it is, that you say was in a way collaborating with a wanted suspect. Again, for that allegation, particularly in relation to the Gadi matter, what work did you put in to try and get that investigated and exposed? Where do we look for that proof?
The investigation, if maybe the team can be established to come and collect all the information that is there, everything that has to be presented before the public or before the investigation team, it will be given to them. So it is not the question of saying that, like in the issue of Hillary Gadi. Hillary Gadi information was there. We had the leads, we had all the statements, we had the suspects. But when you have to go and deal with the suspects themselves, you find that you are having a blockage. And I'll continuously and repeatedly speaking of the blockage somewhere. So all that we are saying is that let all what we presented yesterday be tested. Let the investigation team come down to Mpumalanga and the investigation be done. And we shall have to get the truth of what is really transpiring in all this thing. In the issue of Dora Kaba, where we are saying that he has been allowing the suspect to run, is true. We are still saying that. So all these allegations, let's test them. Let's establish the investigation team, and we'll take it from there.
All right. Have you heard from anyone or have you reached out to anyone since your media briefing over the weekend? For instance, the Nhlanhla Commission of Inquiry. Have you tried reaching out or had someone reach out to you? And would they be the appropriate people to investigate?
Not yet.
You've not heard from them yet?
No.
Have you reached out to them?
No.
Okay. All right.
I haven't.
Sorry, ma'am, please finish your sentence.
I was saying I haven't, because where I'm sitting, I'm saying that we need to reaffirm the rule of law. And in all information that we are saying about the suspects, there are families here that do want to have a closure.
Okay.
There are families that want to know what happened to that. So they haven't come to me, not one of them.
All right, let's leave it there for this evening. Thank you for your time. That's the suspended SAPS Commissioner for Mpumalanga, Lieutenant General Daphney Magagula-Masenamela, who addressed a media briefing over the weekend. There's quite a lot to cover, but unfortunately, because of time, we do need to pick and choose what threads and what themes we can.
What are we to make of the recent and damning allegations that were made by the suspended Mpumalanga SAPS Provincial Commissioner, right? Daphney Magagula-Masenamela. She's alleging that the National Police Commissioner Fannie Masemola and one other official took bribes from the Kaizer Chiefs manager, Bobby Mutaung. This is related to the murder of the speaker of the city of Mbombela in 2009. This is the matter that's related to the tendering. As you know that in 2010 there was a serious construction taking place in the country, so there were tenders left, right and center as part of constructing the roads and of course the stadiums for the 2010 FIFA World Cup. So now the question is, of course, on her own, Daphney Magagula-Masenamela, she's currently on suspension because of the alleged money bribes are 2 to 3 million that she received, right? That she received. That is one of the reasons that led to her suspension from work. So now her coming out of this kind of information, is she being part of the pushback? Because one thing is clear is that the South African Police Service is highly factionalized. There are serious factions within the South African Police Service. So do you think that Daphney Magagula-Masenamela is part of the faction that are pushing back? Because on the other side, you know, you've got Fannie Masemola, the National Police Commissioner, you've got the head of crime intelligence, Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo, and the likes of Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner. And on the other side, we've got Shadrack Sibia and others. So do you think that Daphney is part of the fight back within the SAPS? Why didn't she go to the Nhlanhla Commission? Because the allegations that she raised against Fannie Masemola are covered by the Nhlanhla Commission scope or terms of reference. So they can be thoroughly investigated, because we're not giving Fannie Masemola and Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi as a blank check. If there are things that they have to account to, they have to be investigated. But why did she wait for so long and only come out now and choose not to use the Nhlanhla Commission, where her allegations will be tested? Go to your comment section, guys, and give me your own views on the matter. My name is Tebus Kosana. The name of the platform is IZWI LABANSUNDU, the voice for Africans. Kama Kuma Africa.